My friends, we live in a world of illusions, not simply because we are tricked, but because we are limited in perspective. Take an iceberg, for example. We all know that most of the iceberg is below the surface, invisible to us, which is exactly what makes it dangerous. What if I were to tell you that this phenomena is not limited to the outer world around us? That your perception of who you are is akin to the iceberg. You know that which is above the surface, but under the surface lies a silent behemoth in the dark. Believe it or not, it's there. Psychoanalysts like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung popularized this hidden part of our minds, calling it the unconscious. However, the mind is tricky business. There is no tangible thing we can touch, no separate part of the brain we can point to in order to see the unconscious. So, how do we know it's there, and what are the implications? If you wish to understand what lies beneath, we first need to see how this pattern appears all around us. Take a moment to imagine all the forms of life on Earth, from butterflies to whales, from moss to mushrooms, from snakes to humankind. The sheer variety is astounding, it's incredible. But here's something most people don't realize. The majority of life on this planet exists beneath the surface. In the soil and in the roots and deep within Earth's crust, countless unseen organisms are thriving. The world below is far more alive than it appears, and in many ways it sustains everything above it. The same is true within us. Just as the soil teems with unseen life, our minds are home to countless forces we never witness directly. Instincts, memories, forgotten feelings, all of them moving quietly beneath the surface, shaping who we are. The conscious mind is the sunlight and the leaves, but the unconscious is the soil and roots. Without it, nothing above could exist for long. It feeds our creativity, our intuition, our fears, and our dreams. Yet, even the roots don't reach the end of it. Beneath this soil lies the stone and the fire of the earth itself. If we keep digging past the roots, past the crust and the rock, we find deeper layers that mirror the layers of the mind. The first of these is what Carl Jung called the personal unconscious, just beneath our awareness. It's what many people mean when they refer to the term subconscious. It holds everything that once belonged to consciousness, but has kind of been forgotten or buried. For example, our memories, unprocessed emotions, and repressed desires. It's unique to you, shaped by your life's experiences. As you travel deeper, though, you reach the core, a place that doesn't just belong to you, but to all of humanity. Carl Jung called this the collective unconscious. It's the shared foundation of the human psyche, the place from which myths, symbols, and archetypes arise. The hero, the mother, the shadow, the wise old man. These are not learned, they're inherited patterns that shape how we experience life. In biology, we can see similar patterns at work. A spider doesn't need to be taught how to spin a web. It follows an instinctual blueprint, a fixed action pattern coded into its very being. Likewise, Jung believed that our minds follow psychological blueprints, instinctive ways of thinking, feeling, and imagining that have been passed down through countless generations. So, when we speak of the unconscious, we're not just exploring private memory. We're tracing a connection to the entire human story. To understand yourself fully, you must look not only into your own depths, but into the deep, molten truth that we all share. But knowledge alone isn't enough. Once you've recognized that the unconscious exists, the next question becomes, how do we interact with it? The unconscious, it doesn't speak to us in plain language. Instead, it reveals itself through patterns, subtle repetitions in our lives, cycles that seem to play out again and again. These are often so obvious to others that they can see them long before we do, personally. A friend might say, you always end up in the same kind of relationship, or maybe you always react this way when you're in this situation or when you're challenged. These repeating patterns are not coincidences, they're manifestations of the unconscious. Yet, among all the ways the unconscious speaks, one way stands above the rest, at least to me. Dreams. Dreams are like descending into the caves beneath the earth. Dark, mysterious passages leading to buried treasures and monsters alike. Within them, the unconscious shows us symbols that reflect our inner world, translating emotion and instinct into imagery. With the right awareness, dreams become a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. Through them, we can begin to integrate what has been forgotten, repressed, or ignored, and in doing so, become more balanced and more whole. But dream analysis is not as simple as most people think. It's not about dictionary definitions or one-size-fits-all meanings. In my next video, we'll explore how to recognize these dreams and the patterns within them, and begin to interpret them properly so that what lies hidden in the depths can finally be brought to light. All right, well, thank you for watching. I'll be exploring more of the unconscious in upcoming videos, starting with dream analysis and Carl Jung's concept of archetypes. I would love to hear what parts of these ideas interest you most. Leave a comment below, and if you'd like to continue the journey, subscribe and join me in the conversation.